BDO's got a huge issue with Cron Stones. Why are Cron Stones all of a sudden a big problem for BDO? Well, basically in KR they did a costume update, and in this costume update, when you sell the costume to the central marketplace, you can now sell them for much more silver and you get more crons. And a lot of players are probably going to say, whoa, that's not an issue. Like, that means more crons for everybody. Well, why are people complaining about more crons? You know, like, this seems like a win-win. Probus gets money, the player who sold the costume gets silver, and the person who bought the costume gets crons. It's a win-win-win. Everybody's happy. Why is this an issue? Well, basically, there are three problems that you can look into this. The first problem is the costume price increases and you get more crons. No one's really upset with that, I think, for the most part. There's a few people who say that's pay to win, and there's an argument to be had there, but the majority of the BDO player base does not care about the costume price increase and you getting more crons. The second problem is where people start having an issue. What they did in KR for the first time in about 4 or 5 years is they increased the vendor cron price from 2 million to 3 million. This is a very big issue, and a lot of players are taking issue with this vendor cron price update. Well, players on NA and EU have a very different opinion on this. Players on North America and Korea, which have lots of costumes available, they think, why is this an issue? You just buy a costume from the central marketplace. Why is that an issue? Well, on EU, SEA, South America, and many other servers, you can't buy costumes from the central marketplace very quickly. Like, they're basically sold out, and they take like a day or two to get ordered. And then the third issue here is the ratio. How much silver you pay to how many crons you get. This is the third issue, and this is where North American players are taking issue and Korean players are taking issue with this change. All right, so let's break this down. Let's first go over the vendor crons. This is a 50% increase in price. So for servers that depend on vendor crons to upgrade their gear that requires Cron Stones, this means that gear is going to cost them, 45 to 50% more to upgrade, depending on the tier of the upgrade. This is going to make gear like Fallen God go from like 120 bill, Tet Fallen God, right? Go from like 150 bill closer to like 200 bill. That's a very, very, very steep increase. Obviously it won't happen instantly, but it'll happen over time. It'll go up by a significant margin. And then the other thing that changed here is the ratio, right? The ratio for costume prices, the amount of silver you get, or the amount of crons you get per silver. So let's break this down. On North America right now, when you buy a costume, you get 1 cron for every 1.3 million silver you spend. On the old KR system, before the update, you would get 1 cron for every 1.6 million silver you spend. Most players didn't have a problem with this because this seemed like it was getting less pay to win, and the vendor crons and the difference between vendor crons and costume crons was getting less, which is what people kind of wanted, right? Feels like it's less pay to win, but that is a 22% increase in Cron Stone price. So that's going to have an impact on how much new players trying to buy Tet Fallen God, after 6 months or a year of playing. That's going to affect greatly how much they have to pay. It's going to increase the price by 15 or 20%. Well, the change in KR actually made this go up to 2.25 million silver per cron. That's another 36% increase to costume crons per, the old price, right? So you're paying 36% more for a Cron Stone than you used to pay in KR. And if you add this up to where North America is currently at, that's a 65% increase in costume crons. And that means, if you look at that, that's going to turn items like Tet Fallen God from around 150 bill to closer to 200 bill. And will that happen overnight? No. I mean, it'll be gradual over the course of, 3, 6, 9 months. It will slowly go from 150 to 200 bill. And a lot of people would say, well, what about Blackstar or Tet accessories? Well, Pin Blackstar probably won't be worth cronning anymore after this change, and that's going to increase the price of Pin Blackstar from around 120 or 130 bill up to maybe 150 to 180 bill. And then, for Tet accessories, they won't be worth cronning anymore. This is going to make a lot of these prices go up and make it harder for new players. So veteran players who already have a Tet Fallen God or Pim Blackstar, no problem. Who cares, right? I basically make 60 bill by just sitting back and doing nothing and holding my gear. But new players trying to catch up to these veteran players, this becomes much more difficult, and that's where the North American players are having an issue with this. All right, and so everyone's going to be different. Some people are going to do this a little differently. Let's break down why more crons does not equal lower prices. So first, with the costume price increase, we're going to have way more crons in the marketplace. So you would think, well, the supply of crons is going to increase. That means people are going to be able to buy crons and upgrade their gear, which will mean the supply of gear will increase, which should push down the price of, Tet Fallen God or Pim Blackstar or whatever. And that idea, sort of makes sense when you think of it at a surface level. But how do you get crons? You have to buy them with silver. And silver requires time. It requires a huge time investment into going into a grind spot and grinding out the silver. And what's going to happen because of this steep increase in cron prices is people will not be able to buy the costumes fast enough. Or if they are, basically it's going to be a very good deal for people to buy Tet Fallen God, and they're not going to want to sell their Tet Fallen God for 150 bill because they know in 6 months it's going to be worth 180 bill or 190 bill. And so they're going to hold on to this Tet Fallen God knowing that it's going to be worth more, and people are going to try to buy them up quicker because they know if they buy it now they're going to save 20, 30, 40 billion. And this is kind of hopefully going to break it down a little bit. So if you haven't seen, Biohack has a very good video on this. There's also a huge debate between Canon, Biseptimus, and Choice. Recently, So Frosty and Biseptimus got onto it on stream, talking to each other, debating this. Basically, the few different arguments I've heard is Biseptimus basically thinks it's going to happen anyway, so why do we care? Biohack is mainly concerned because of the ratio change. This is going to make it a lot harder for people who are buying costumes, a lot harder for newer players who are buying costumes to keep up with veteran players. And the vendor cron increase is going to really hurt players like in EU, SCA, and South America. Hopefully that kind of sums up what's going on with the whole cron situation. Shines a little bit of light on this. If you guys enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe. I'm going live on Twitch after this video goes live, so you can go and follow me at Twitch. You can find that in the description below. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.